excited that you are here with us. So wherever you're coming in from, thank you so much for joining us. We have some incredible information that we just love to share about. And so that is why you're here. You're here to hear about an incredible product called Protandim NRF2 that we ourselves use as humans, but that we also can give to our horses. And so that's why we're here. That's why we're here to share with you today. And we have two incredible speakers that are also going to be sharing on this call as well. But before we get started, I would just like to say welcome. My name is Jenny Field. I'm going to be sharing with you a little bit about my story and how I got started in this company called LifeVantage, and a little bit about my journey with one of our horses. But a little background about myself. I'm a wife and I'm a mom of two girls. I have a background in massage therapy, and I grew up around horses as a kid, livestock, showed, cattle and pigs and all that kind of good stuff. So I'm definitely a country girl at heart, and I love animals. And that's kind of where my story started, was this right here is one of our horses. Her name is Lily. And about 4 years ago, Lily was 4 years old and had a injury in her hind foot and had a deep flexor tendon strain. And it was awful. But through that process, that strain caused stress inside of her body and caused what's called a navicular bone inside of her foot to weaken. And through that process, it actually fractured her navicular bone. And if you're familiar with horses, you're familiar with anatomy of horses, you will know that that type of injury can be like career ending. And as you can see, this is a barrel horse. And so when we got that news, we were just devastated, as far as this is a 4-year-old mare that we, had just got running in barrels. And if that was going to end her career, what were we going to do with this horse? But thank goodness to LifeVantage, thank goodness to Protandim NRF2, she was able to come through, and she was able to start running barrels again. Now, it didn't all just happen overnight. So with the help of a very good lameness veterinarian in California, he said, give this horse time, let this horse heal, let it rest. And we did that for a whole year. We did nothing as far as just rehab Lily to get her healthy again. And we got the go ahead from that vet to say, okay, put her into training again. You can get her back out and you can get her competing again. And I was nervous. I was so nervous. I was like, I don't know, what if something happens again? And so with just my background in massage therapy and knowing how our human body works, I was like, well, a horse is a mammal too. So there's got to be something out there that's going to be able to support this horse on a cellular level, with all of the stress that comes along with hauling to rodeos, the intense turning that barrel racing horses have to do, all that stress that is associated with the body. There's got to be something out there that can help support this horse on that cellular level. And sure enough, it was presented to me. A good friend of mine was sharing about how she was using this on her horses that her kids rodeo on. And I was like, okay, tell me more about this little yellow activator that you're giving your horses. This seems too good to be true. Like 1 pill a day, are you kidding me? But we jumped in with both feet. I read all the information. You guys are going to hear about all the incredible science and the information here in just a minute. And I was so excited to start Lily on this little yellow activator. And so we did. 2.5 years ago, we put Lily on Protandim NRF2. And 6 months later, these are pictures of her running barrels again, her whole body being supported, her performance being just increased to, a crazy, tremendous amount. And that's my daughter Haley on her. So for us to see that change within a animal and a horse, I was sold. I was like, okay, like I need to be on this. Where do I sign up? And then where do I start sharing with people about this incredible product that can support our body on a cellular level? So that was 2.5 years ago, and the journey for me has just been incredible. Obviously, I have personal stories and testimonies of myself being activated as well, but I'm not going to get into all of that because we are just covering horses and animals here today. But I just wanted to give you a little bit of my story and Lily's story as well before we get into like the nitty gritty and the incredible science and information that we have backing Protandim NRF2 and this amazing company and this amazing products. So without further ado, I would love to introduce kind of the guest speaker that we have for this call today. Dr. Alice Beretta is an equine veterinarian, and she went to the University of Georgia and graduated back in 2002. So she has been practicing equine veterinarian for 18 years, and she loves her job. She loves helping animals. She loves working with horses, and she uses Protandim in her practice every single day. And so who better to share this information, share the science than Dr. Alice Beretta. So I would love to pass the call over to you, Dr. Beretta, if you are on the call, if you want to unmute, and we'll hear from you.
Great, thank you. Thank you so much, Jenny, for such a wonderful introduction. And Lily's story pulls at my heartstrings. It really does. That was such a devastating injury, a career-ending, life-changing injury. And it's just those stories and those wonderful comebacks that keep us going and that make me so excited to share this information. So just a little bit about me, so I'm not just a stranger up here. As Jenny said, I'm an equine veterinarian. I cannot believe I've been in practice for 19 years. So don't tell anyone. But I love what I do, but it's a juggle. I have two young boys and I'm a practice owner. So I'm on call 24/7 and juggling the exciting life of being an equine veterinarian. But when this came into my life, I really dove into the science. I have a background in biochemistry. I was floored that I did not know about this. And I was excited about the potential of how it could help my patients. And I also knew that I needed to be taking it. I knew that with my lifestyle of, getting up at 1 o'clock in the morning to go help pull a foal or treat a colic or whatever it is that keeps me running and going and kind of juggling, trying to be present with my family. I knew that, my life was stressful, that my body could not keep going the way that it had been for the last 20 years that I have been in veterinary medicine. And I immediately knew that I needed to take it, but I also had a long list of patients and family members and people that I knew that could benefit. And the science is incredible. It really captivated me, but to see the transformations is what really makes me want to share with others, because I truly believe that people deserve to know about it and that it's an incredible way to support our bodies as well as our equine bodies, our horses' bodies. So a little bit about just kind of the basics. What most people are not familiar with is something called oxidative stress. So you see on the left, you've got your two pasture ornaments. Those may be mine, my two older horses. You've got your pasture horses that you wouldn't think would be under any stress. They're eating grass, and they're not overweight or underweight, and they don't work hard, they don't travel, they kind of have that easy life. And then on the right, you've got your working horse, the horse that is traveling from horse show or rodeo or event, every single weekend, and tied to a horse trailer or in a strange stall, on a concentrated diet. So you've got kind of two ends of the spectrum there. But believe it or not, they are both under oxidative stress. And so we've all heard of stress, but most people don't realize what oxidative stress is. And oxidative stress is actually the root cause of inflammation and disease. And it's in all of our bodies. It's the byproduct of living, of our metabolism, of breathing oxygen. And then it's compounded by age. The older we are, the older your horse is, the harder it is for them to reduce this oxidative stress and control that oxidative damage that happens over time as they age. And then in your younger horses, it comes from the tough lifestyle. It's hard on their bodies, it's hard on them, psychologically, emotionally, and they love what they do, but just like me, I love what I do, but I need support. So I love for people to realize that it can help all horses, and that no matter at what point they are in their life, in their career, or how old they are, this is something that can benefit all of them. So oxidative stress, if you look at this number at the top with all those zeros, so our bodies make 300 sextillion free radicals a day. So those free radicals are just a byproduct of our metabolism. And if you do not reduce or remove those free radicals, then they damage cells. And this imbalance of too many free radicals and a decreased ability to reduce them is what we call oxidative stress. And it's oxidation or damage to your cells, similar to an apple you cut in half. It would quickly turn brown and start to wrinkle from oxidation. And this is happening on a cellular level. So if you can think of your whole horse as being a compilation of cells, all cells create organs, create tissues, create your horse. If you have cellular damage, then you have inflammation, disease, and you're not performing at your best. So how does oxidative stress affect your horse? And the things that we see are metabolic diseases. We've all heard of equine Cushing's disease and metabolic syndrome, inflammatory airway diseases like equine asthma, heaves. A lot of horses are depending on a hay diet. So then they're inhaling all those fungal spores, and even great quality hay is going to be dusty because it's hay. And so, depending on the environment that they're in, whether it's a beautiful pasture, but there's summer weeds that they, are allergic to, or they're in a stall with dust, there is no perfect environment. And we also, unfortunately, are in that same boat. There are a lot of toxins in our environment that affect our levels of oxidative stress, like pesticides that are in the water, in the grass, insecticides that we spray on them so that they don't have pesky flies and ticks and awful things and mosquitoes that are spreading disease. So, unfortunately, we cannot keep ourselves or our animals in a perfect environment. And so that is something that we have to help them combat. Eye diseases like uveitis, osteoarthritis, oxidative stress in your joints is going to cause inflammation and cartilage damage. So arthritis, tendon injuries is a big one with these athletes. Any exercise-related fatigue and injury, and tumors. Oxidative stress is the root cause also of tumors and cancer. When you have that cellular damage of your normal cells and the DNA is disrupted, then you have abnormal cell growth, which is cancer. So the big question is, how do we fight oxidative stress? How do we fight this free radical damage? Well, I always have people that are trying to support their horses naturally, because once you're tumbling down that slippery slope of disease, it's really hard to rein it back. So people are always looking, how do I prevent this? How do I help my horse be as healthy as it can so that it can, live as long as it can? Because, they live a long time. They're part of our lives for decades, and we get attached and we want them to have a great quality of life. So how do we support our horses? And, people come out of their tack rooms with these tubs full of things. And they're like, is this good for my horse? Should I be giving them this? And a lot of it is anecdotal. Some of the ingredients are helpful, but it's really hard. It was always really hard. I'd be brushing off the dust off the labels, and I'd take pictures, and I'd go home and do research. And it was really hard for me to just bottom line tell people, yes, this is helping your horse, and it's not a waste of your money. A lot of times people were overdosing, or it's just not really helping. And so it was just amazing to me to find a supplement that I knew for sure, 100% scientifically backed, that it was going to help them, and that it was going to help every part of them, not just their joints, not just their feet, not just their heart, that it was going to help every cell in the body. So that is something that, is really rare and very difficult to find. And with supplements in general, the science is not there. There's very, very little literature and science to back it. So how this works is when you're fighting your free radical damage or this oxidative stress, there are two ways. And what most people know of are your direct antioxidants, like your vitamin C, vitamin E, your flavonoids, all of those things that are in your, equine supplements as well as human supplements. But what people don't know about is that there are indirect antioxidants. And those are these complex molecules that your body makes, or your horse's body makes. And those really reduce free radicals much more effectively than antioxidants ever could. And the difference is your antioxidants work at a 1-to-1 ratio. Your indirect antioxidants work 1,000,000 to 1 per second, every second of the day. So you get this continuous removal of free radicals so that your body and your cells can stay healthy and not be damaged by these free radicals. And so the big question is, how do we increase our indirect antioxidants? Because the key is not to take more antioxidants, because that doesn't work. Actually, you reach a point of toxicity, and it's not good to take too much vitamin C or vitamin E. So how do we help the body make more indirect antioxidants? And the answer is NRF2 activation. And that's where Protandim comes in. So Protandim is a NRF2 activator. It is a natural NRF2 activator. It's composed of 5 herbs. And what is incredible about it is the synergy of those 5 herbs. Those 5 herbs work together to activate that NRF2 or that NRF2 pathway. And by doing this, you're turning on, really activating your cells to work at their best. So the science behind it is incredible. If you like to look up the science, read the papers, the place you want to look is pubmed.gov. So as a medical professional, a healthcare provider, that's where we do our research. You don't want to just go to Google because Google has, isn't always scientifically backed. And so definitely go to pubmed.gov, and you can put in, oxidative stress in any disease process and see how they are linked. And you'll understand the connection there and how lowering oxidative stress can help you, your horse, your dog, any animal, any mammal that you can think of. So I was floored when I looked at pubmed.gov and started doing research, and I saw that there were 28 peer-reviewed studies from cancer to diabetes to heart disease, arthritis. So lots and lots of incredible literature there. So if you like to read the science, I would definitely recommend it. Don't take my word for it. Look it up yourself. So you're wondering what's in it. Why does it work the way that it does? And there are 5 herbs: milk thistle, bacopa, ashwagandha, green tea, and turmeric. All 5 of those herbs have been used in Eastern medicine and have amazing therapeutic properties. But really the magic of Protandim is the synergy and the way that they work together. The formula and the way that the Protandim is, I guess, the way that it's put together and the way that it works in the body is the reason why they were able to patent it. Because you can't patent plants, right? Because they come from the earth. Nobody owns them. But because of this specific formula and the way that it works, LifeVantage was able to patent Protandim. And then subsequently, there were lots and lots of studies done by independent universities to figure out what this could help and who this could help. And that's why we have so many peer-reviewed studies that were done by, Harvard, LSU. There's a Canadian university that did one on arthritis. But there's some incredible literature out there that wasn't done by our company, but was done by other universities and medical schools that wanted to research Protandim with their own funds, their own research money. And that is something that you don't see. You do not see that in the supplement industry. Most of the time the research is done by the company itself in order to promote their own product. And so that is just something that is just incredible to have, to be able to be backed by science, and then to see the results that you get. So I love this slide. It's a little nerdy. Don't let me scare you with all the shapes. But Protandim signals this NRF2 protein. That's why it's called Protandim Nerf2. And I'm a visual person. I like to see how things work, down to the nitty gritty, the technical level. And this is how it works. If you look at this little purple mushroom on the top right, that's your NRF2 activator. So in this case, your Protandim. And when it binds the outside of the cell, it causes these subsequent changes to happen in the cell. Kinase, the yellow circle oval, binds the blue oval, which is called KEAP1. It then allows NRF2, that little red messenger protein, to be released. And then what it does, because it's a messenger, it enters the nucleus of the cell, binds the DNA, and literally turns on these survival genes. And if you guys know anything about horses, you realize that horses need all the survival that they can possibly get because they are just a mess and they're always looking for a way to fall apart. So by turning on those survival genes, you're decreasing inflammation, scar tissue, and turning on the production of those antioxidant enzymes. So this is a great paper that I love to share with people because it really, really explains why we're here and why Protandim does what it does. The title of the paper, it was published by Washington State, and it's NRF2, a master regulator of detoxification and also antioxidant, anti-inflammatory, and other cell protective mechanisms. And there's the quote in this paper that says, NRF2 may well become the most extraordinary therapeutic and most extraordinary preventative breakthrough in the history of medicine. And it has the potential of helping people like you could never imagine. And I really feel like this is information that people deserve to know about. And if you are here today and you are listening to this and you were invited on this Zoom, definitely keep in mind the animals and the people that you could help. And if you need help sharing the information, just reach out to the person who invited you, and we would love to tell you more. So this is another paper, equine focused, just talks about oxidative stress in equine medicine, and that the goal is to maintain that fragile equilibrium between your antioxidant defenses and your free radicals. You want to keep those free radicals in check and keep your antioxidant defenses high so that you can prevent that cellular damage. So inflammation levels are decreased and your antioxidant levels are increased. And so benefits that you will see were improved skin and coat, increased energy and endurance, a healthier immune system, better joint health and mobility, reduced joint pain and inflammation, stronger resistance to allergies, better tooth and gum health. And we don't always think about that with horses, but that's a big deal. You know, they rely on their teeth. It affects their longevity and their quality of life. Better cardiovascular health, increased mental function and alertness, and reduction of any age-related health problems. So I just wanted to cover really quickly, you know, we talk about using Protandim in horses. It isn't a human supplement, but it works great in horses. But we also have Pet Tandem for dogs. And, you know, we all have an old dog. Most of us do anyway. All farms, all barns have an old dog. And they just get to the point where life is hard for them. Their quality of life is questionable. They're, arthritic, having a hard time getting around, and they age faster than we do. They age 7 times faster than we do. And so their levels of oxidative stress are higher. And they also are in that same boat of laying around on the grass that's been treated with pesticides or herbicides. And we put pesticides on them every month to try to keep the fleas and the flies and, the bugs and the heartworms and, all of those things away from them. And they also, most of the time, we don't cook for our dogs and they're on a processed food. Most dogs are on processed food. So all of the toxins that we are exposed to, they are exposed to, and even more. So we all want to support our best friends, our 4-legged best friends. And this is actually a cute picture of my friend's dog that's jumping all the pitchforks like he's a little hunter jumper. So, all right. Well, I also wanted to get Christy to jump on. Christy is a wonderful friend of mine. I met her through my equine work, and she's the most amazing mom to her sons, but also to her animals. And she was searching for something for her little pony Nissa, and he had a beautiful, wonderful transformation. So I wanted her to jump on and share his story for us. Christy, if you're on here, if you would unmute yourself and share Nissa's story, that would be wonderful.
Thanks so much, Alice. Like Alice said, I'm Christy Simpson. I'm a mom of 3 adult boys and a few animals. And I have a background in science. So when Alice told me about Protandim Nerf 2 for Nissa, who was chronically laminitic at the time, and she said that there were studies involved with this, I was like, oh, studies? You need to tell me more, give me more information. So the problem that I was having with Nissa was I had done everything I knew to do. He kept rotating, he was constantly sore. I don't know if you know what laminitis is, but what it looks like is very sore feet in a horse, but it's a metabolic issue. It's not a foot issue. So I had limited his grass intake. I limited his food intake. He had dropped weight. He had been obese, but he had dropped weight, and nothing was happening. It was very frustrating and very distressing to me because I didn't know what else to do. And so when Alice told me about this, I was like, I'm jumping on it, because I want to help him. He is in a lot of pain. And I was completely blown away because 2 months after I started him on Nerf 2, he was walking comfortably. And that has been 5.5 years now. So his feet still look really great and he walks comfortably. And I'm so grateful that Alice told me about this, because it's not just helped Nissa, it's helped my whole family, but specifically me. It's helped me, it's helped my husband. So I just cannot get across to you how life-changing this is for the better. It's just been an amazing journey. And I highly recommend you checking out the science, because I'm a nerd and I love the science. like Dr. Beretta was saying, I love that little schematic where she shows the cell. It's so cool. But thanks so much, you guys, for coming tonight. I'm going to try to wrap it up quick because I know we've gone a little bit over, but we started a little late. So love you guys. Thank you so much. And thank you for being here. Okay.
Thank you, Christy, for sharing. I appreciate all of you for jumping on. We love sharing this information from the bottom of our hearts. If you have any questions about Protandim Nerf 2, or if you know anyone that you want to share this information with, the business aspect is something that I never in a million years would have jumped into, because I'm already burning the candle at both ends. But it's been an incredible blessing in my life and the life of others that I really, really care about. And it is something that I would definitely look into if you're looking to share this information, people, or looking for another stream of income. So it's very important to have a plan B, to have a backup plan. And for me, it's because I'm an equine veterinarian, and you never know, there's always a chance that I could get hurt and wouldn't be able to show up at my appointments. And so the peace of mind that comes with having another stream of income that doesn't rely on me, showing up and pulling up at appointments is just brings me a kind of peace that I never knew that I would have. So just the products in itself, you don't want anybody to not know this information, but the business also is incredible. And if you guys have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out to us or the person who invited you on the call. Thank you all for jumping on, and thank you, Jenny, for hosting, and Christy for sharing this story.